What a game. The Indiana Fever snap the New York Liberty's undefeated streak.
The word undeniable exists for a reason, and it applies to Caitlin Clark. She is just absolutely undeniable, and her return to the Indiana Fever showed it once again. It felt like a jolt of energy to the WNBA, obviously to the Indiana Fever.
The WNBA may have just made one of the most embarrassing mistakes in sports history. After Caitlin Clark returned from injury and dropped a dominant 32-point performance against the defending champion, New York Liberty, the league allegedly selected her for a drug test, her 11th this season. The timing raised eyebrows across the internet, sparking swift, brutal, and often hilarious reactions from fans and critics alike. Now, the WNBA is facing a backlash they clearly didn't anticipate. Many are questioning whether the league is actively sabotaging its most popular star, or if this is just another glaring example of shocking incompetence. Either way, the optics are terrible.
I'm gonna say it. Caitlin Clark is the best basketball player in the world. She's the best basketball player that I have ever seen. She is the difference maker. She is the needle mover. She is the face of basketball right now. It's really hard not to recognize the difference that she makes on the Indiana Fever, a team that was obviously struggling with playmaking, struggling with pacing, struggling with the things that make us want to watch. And she steps into that court, and in the first quarter, she made...
Let's start with the facts, because they're so absurd they almost sound made up. Caitlin Clark returned from a 5-game injury absence and immediately delivered a masterpiece. 32 points against the defending champion, New York Liberty, leading her team to a statement win that ended the Liberty's undefeated streak. Her reward, a mandatory drug test. According to reports, it was her 11th drug test this season. For context, the average WNBA player is typically tested 3 times during the regular season and once in the offseason. The numbers alone are enough to raise serious questions, and the internet isn't buying that this is just a coincidence.
And Cunningham is down behind the play, but they've got Caitlin Clark to fire away from 2 players with incredible
The WNBA front office took one look at Caitlin Clark's stat sheet, 32 points after missing 5 games, and apparently decided that level of excellence couldn't possibly be natural. Preparation, talent, and elite basketball IQ? No, their conclusion was she must be on something. So they hit her with a mandatory drug test, her 11th of the season. The implication? That her performance had to be enhanced by something other than greatness. Social media erupted instantly, and its reactions were both hilarious and brutal. One user joked, she tested positive for goat blood, which honestly might be the most accurate drug test result in sports history. Another chimed in, they should drug test Scott Foster while they're at it, a jab at WNBA officiating. But the best response might have been, forget a drug test, do a DNA test to make sure she's actually human. And honestly, who could argue? Hitting 3 3-pointers in just 38 seconds to start a game against an undefeated team, that's not normal. That's supernatural. The timing of the test was not just suspicious, it was downright embarrassing for the league. Clark missed 5 games with a quad injury, then returned and dominated a top team in the league, instantly reminding the world why she's the face of professional basketball. The Fever broke a franchise record with 17 3-pointers, and Clark looked like she hadn't missed a single minute. The WNBA's response? Not a celebration, not a spotlight. Instead, let's make sure she's not cheating. The optics? Awful. It's like watching the Titanic sink and calling it a minor navigation error. Caitlin Clark has revolutionized the sport, elevating ratings, viewership, and cultural relevance, but instead of protecting or promoting her, the league appears to be targeting her. While drug testing is supposedly random in the WNBA, 11 tests in one season starts to look less like a protocol and more like a pattern. Other players might get tested 3, maybe 4 times. Clark seems to be getting the VIP package, with a post-game P-cup waiting after. Thank you. Now let's break down what really happened in that Liberty game, because Caitlin Clark's performance was so extraordinary, it literally triggered a drug test. From the opening tip, Clark was on fire. She drilled 3 logo threes in the first quarter alone, forcing Breanna Stewart to give her 5 feet of space and still watching the ball splash through the net. That's not the result of chemical enhancement. That's elite skill and unshakable confidence. The kind that separates generational superstars from everyone else. But Clark didn't just score. She orchestrated the entire offense like a maestro. She created open looks, controlled the pace, and made the defending champions look like just another team. Watching the tape, it's clear this wasn't luck or a random hot streak. It was the product of someone who spent 5 games on the bench studying film and came back with a blueprint to dismantle the league's best. Instead of celebrating that brilliance, someone in the WNBA office apparently decided it needed investigating. Because God forbid their biggest star is legitimately that great at basketball. Surely there must be an explanation beyond talent, preparation, and basketball IQ, right? The fan reaction said it all. One person nailed the absurdity. The WNBA can't believe they finally have a good player. Another quipped that Clark has been drug tested more times than Angel Reese averages points per game, which based on the numbers is both savage and accurate. The internet flooded with jokes. 12 assists? Must be steroids? Logo shots? Highly suspicious. Makes teammates better? Yep, another test. The league's actions have created a dangerous and ridiculous precedent. Excellence equals suspicion. Instead of embracing their biggest star, they've made her feel like a target.
Good job.
No, we can.
Whew, good job. Squad needed it. Played Fever Way. I love it. More of them. Thanks.
Just want to let you know you have a huge fan base in Hong Kong.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And
hopefully I'll get there one day.
And today, there are 5 Hong Kong fans fly from Hong Kong to
No
Indiana.
way. Oh my gosh.
And the hour is 22 hours.
No way.
Your number.
Oh
so
my goodness. Well, I wish I could have
just
met
want to say
them.
this, including me.
If you know them, tell them thank you for coming. That's
So-
incredible.
Yeah, so any plans you will visit Hong Kong with your teams in the future years?
Yeah, maybe we'll head to Hong Kong after the season. I mean, I certainly hope to go to Hong Kong one day. It's incredible to see the type of reach that we can have and how much people love basketball across the globe. So that's really cool. So if you know them, tell them I say hello and thanks for coming as well.
Yeah, thank you. Hope one day to show you around.
Yeah, absolutely.
What makes this situation so ridiculous is that Caitlin Clark's dominance isn't some overnight phenomenon. It's not sudden, surprising, or inexplicable. She's been doing this since college, draining deep threes, throwing no-look passes, and displaying court vision that seems almost supernatural. This is who she is. Anyone who's followed her journey knew this was coming. Her 32-point performance against the Liberty wasn't an outlier. It was a reminder of what she brings when healthy. Yet the WNBA's response to her brilliance? A mandatory drug test. Her 11th of the season, it sends a disturbing message. Either the league doesn't understand its own star, or worse, it refuses to believe she's legitimately this good. And either explanation reflects poorly on WNBA leadership. Clark's return wasn't just impressive, it was transformational. The Fever, with her back in the lineup, looked like an entirely different team. The offense flowed, teammates found rhythm, and suddenly they were dismantling the defending champions. That should have been a moment of celebration across the league. Instead, it became the latest example of the WNBA mishandling its most important asset. Social media turned savage. One user nailed it. The WNBA can't believe they finally have a good player. Others joked that Clark's been tested more than Angel Reese scores per game. Statistically accurate, painfully hilarious. Another quipped, 12 assists? Must be drugs. Logo threes? Highly suspicious. Making teammates better. Test her again. The league turned excellence into suspicion, and fans turned that into a meme fest. And the worst part? This isn't some isolated mistake. It's part of a broader pattern of the WNBA fumbling how to treat and promote its brightest star. In the NBA, when Steph Curry drops 9 threes, they market the highlights. When an NFL quarterback throws for 400 yards, the league celebrates it. But in the WNBA, that same greatness gets met with chemical analysis. One particularly savage comment summed it up. Clark's been tested more than she's been marketed. And it's true. That one line speaks volumes about the league's current identity crisis. Caitlin Clark's return was appointment television. Fans around the world tuned in just to see how she'd look after missing 5 games. The result? A masterclass. Viral. Moments. Positive media attention. All the ingredients of a perfect comeback. And then we find out she was drug tested afterward. Again, the WNBA's random testing protocol is starting to look anything but. 11 tests in one season versus the league average of 3? The statistical odds of that being a coincidence are so low. It's almost laughable. At this point, it doesn't feel like randomness. It feels like harassment disguised as routine. Policy! Let's break it down. Clark gets 11 tests, most players get 3. That's nearly 4 times the rate, and suspiciously timed, almost always after her best performances. If this were truly random, it would defy basic probability. Worse still is the message this sends. If you're too good, we don't celebrate. We investigate you. Clark's performance against the Liberty was everything the league needed. Energy, storylines, momentum. And instead of doubling down on that moment and amplifying it, the WNBA's response casts a shadow of doubt over her performance. It's not just disrespectful to Caitlin Clark. It's disrespectful to her coaches, her trainers, her rehab team, and everyone who helped her return to peak form. To imply she needed outside help to dominate a game is insulting at every level. Fans noticed, and they didn't hold back. From jokes about illegal court vision supplements to memes mocking the league's priorities, the backlash has been relentless. One fan perfectly summarized it. Clark gets drug tested more than most players get playing time. Ouch! And true. Meanwhile, players who can't consistently hit open shots skate by without so much as a mention. The implication? Excellence is suspicious, while mediocrity is perfectly acceptable. That's the worst possible message for a pro league trying to grow. Now factor in the global spotlight. Clark recently mentioned that fans flew in from Hong Kong just to watch her. She's not just an American sensation. She's an international draw. And now those fans see headlines about their favorite player being tested like a suspected cheat. That's not just bad PR, it's brand damage. The most tragic part? The WNBA had an incredible story to run with. Their biggest star returns from injury, dismantles the top team in the league, and looks like a transcendent talent. That's a moment to build an ad campaign around. Instead, we got drug test Needle 11. If every exceptional performance leads to further suspicion, the WNBA is not just sabotaging Clark, it's sabotaging its own future. The message to young girls and future stars becomes, play great, but not too great, or you'll be treated like a criminal. In the end, the numbers don't lie. The reactions don't lie. The fans aren't fooled. The WNBA has turned a golden opportunity into a PR nightmare. And unless they course correct quickly, they risk alienating the very audience Caitlin Clark brought in. Caitlin Clark's impact on basketball is undeniable. Fans have bought her jersey, packed arenas just to see her play, and become followers of the WNBA purely because of what she brings to the court. She's elevated the league's visibility, its revenue, and most importantly, its relevance. But when the same league treats her like a suspect instead of a superstar, it doesn't just feel misguided. It feels like a betrayal. Imagine being a coach tasked with managing a team whose best player gets drug tested every time she performs. Exceptionally. That kind of relentless scrutiny doesn't just affect Clark. It affects team chemistry, morale, and the entire locker room dynamic. It places unnecessary psychological strain on a player who should be the league's most protected and promoted asset. From a business perspective, this is corporate insanity. Clark moves the needle on everything: TV ratings, ticket sales, merchandise, and mainstream media attention. She's done what consultants and think tanks have failed to do for years. She made the WNBA must-watch. So what does the league do? In response, it investigates her again and again. 11 drug tests in a single season. That's not policy, that's persecution. And the public isn't buying the random excuse anymore. Sports journalists who usually avoid controversy are openly criticizing the WNBA's judgment. Even neutral voices are asking, what exactly are you doing? When the media turns, you've already lost the PR war. The WNBA Players Association should be furious. If Clark, the league's golden goose, can be subjected to excessive drug testing just for being elite, then no player is safe. This isn't about fairness. It's about precedent. And that precedent could undermine player rights, respect, and dignity across the board. The historical context only makes this worse. Women's sports have long struggled for equal attention, investment, and respect. Now, with Caitlin Clark bringing unprecedented mainstream eyes to the WNBA, the league questions whether her success is even legitimate. That's not just short-sighted. It's self-sabotage. Let's talk competitive integrity. If Clark's dominance were artificially enhanced, opposing teams would be the first to demand inquiries. But what are they doing? They're praising her. They're acknowledging her brilliance. That's not suspicion. That's respect from peers. That's what greatness looks like. Fans have noticed, and they're fed up. Clark supporters have drawn a clear line in the sand. Us versus them. And that them is the league office. That's how badly this situation has been handled. Your audience is now rooting against your decisions. You've completely misunderstood your role as a sports entertainment league. The most damning part. This scandal has overshadowed the basketball itself. Instead of talking about Clark's growth, her improved decision-making, her leadership, and her chemistry with the Fever, we're talking about drug test logistics. Instead of celebrating a triumphant return, we're dissecting specimen protocols. That's a complete failure of league priorities. This is the WNBA's success paradox in full view. They say they want more attention. They say they want higher revenue and bigger audiences. But when they finally get what they asked for, delivered on a silver platter by Caitlin Clark, they don't celebrate it. They scrutinize it. It's like begging for food, then questioning whether a 5-star meal is real. They turned a golden moment, a generational star's return from injury and dismantling of a top team, into a PR disaster. When excellence triggers drug testing, not celebration, your league has a leadership problem. So what do you think? Did the WNBA cross a line with Clark? Does the league owe her and the fans an apology? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button if you think this treatment was completely unfair. And don't forget to subscribe for more sports drama that writes itself.